Hi everyone, it's Derek from the iReady podcast here, and this is my reaction to the 2-0 victory against Celtic in the Scottish Cup round 4 today. Absolutely incredible. We kind of run out of things to say about this team. It was absolutely immense today. As much as I don't think we were at our best today, certainly not, we didn't need to be. I don't think we got out of third gear because we taken our chances when we got them. Celtic never, and we contained them largely. Granted, Celtic did have a number of chances. McGregor had made a good few saves. Celtic keeper, I don't think, had a lot to do. We never created all that much, but we controlled a majority of the game, which is fantastic, and it's one of the features of our season. One change from the starting lineup from Hibs, and that was Arfield replacing Roof. Certainly a decent squad, and you couldn't have asked for much more. First half itself, it kind of swung both ways. As I said, the difference is we took our chances though when we were on top. Celtic really only had a 10-minute period where they were pushing us back. That was after our first goal, but I think it was actually more to us sitting back, allowing them to do that rather than them being the better team. We reasserted ourselves and then we scored our second, and as I said, the best of it is I don't think we really got out of third gear today in the first half. Our first goal came on the 10th minute and it was Davis scored. Kent was taken out in the middle of the park. The advantage was played. Kamara picks up the ball, passes to Aribo, who drove it forward, gets to the right side of the box, shuffles inside, hits a shot, a deflection off the boot of the defender, but right into the path of Davis, who with an overhead kick into the back of the net from about 6 yards. That was just incredible from Davis there, and you didn't think he was going to be the furthest forward player there. You thought it would have been more of a thing for Kamara maybe, or even Morelos being there, but for Davis to do that, and with the technique as well, was outstanding. Just an overhead kick in an Old Firm game, what can you say? As I said then, Celtic started to get a wee bit more possession. They were reasserting themselves. As I said though, we were sitting back and allowing them to do this. We maybe got too comfy doing it because they had a few chances at this point. McGregor had a couple of saves, but a lot of it was wasted from Celtic where they're putting the ball wide. Maybe a wee bit lucky where Helander cleared it off the line from a cross that kind of came in, but that's why you've got the players in the positions. And then we started to reassert ourselves. We got the bit between the teeth and we got the second on the 34th minute. It was an OG, granted, but I think if it wasn't, then Kent was there with the follow-up. Fantastic with down the right with Morelos to Arfield to Aribo. Aribo takes it down the right, shimmies in, outfoxes the defender, gets into the box, puts a fast-paced cross into the area, and it was met by Callum McGregor, who was sliding in and puts it into the back of his net. And as I said, Kent was there behind him with the follow-up had he not got it there anyway. So just outstanding skill from Aribo there. Everybody involved was brilliant. Just the great wee layoffs from Morelos as well, and certainly Aribo involved in both the goals, and that's more of the Aribo we like to see. And then from there we never sat back at this point. We just dominated the game. Granted, we never really done much with it in terms of up front, and certainly in the rest of the first half, but we done what we needed to do. The game certainly wasn't wrapped up. Celtic were still dangerous. We had to keep our wits about us, but we controlled it, and that's all you can ask at this position when you're 2-0 up. Into half time, no changes. I think Celtic taking off Laxalt, who was just getting turned inside out. The problem was down his side, down that left side. Aribo was getting Aribo and Patterson were just ripping them a new one. Patterson of note was immense in the first half. Really direct as well, which is brilliant to see. Second half, certainly Celtic had 45 minutes to salvage their season, and it started off, you thought it was going to be a barrage from them. They did get a chance right on, and McGregor had to make a good save, but they really never done a lot with it afterwards. Granted, McGregor had to make a couple of good saves as well. A couple of them were more right at him rather than anything special. One good diving save as well, where it was probably a really decent chance for Celtic, but they wasted a lot of it. And as much as we never put Bain under a lot of pressure, there was a one chance towards the end once Roof had came on. He never had much to do either, but we controlled the midfield, and that was the key. And at Celtic, you knew towards the middle of the second half it wasn't going to be their day. One of Celtic's best chances came on this 59th minute when Patterson, unusual for him because he was solid all game, he gave the ball away in midfield on the right hand side. It was a drive and run from Celtic. They get the ball across, their attacker gets the ball, all he had to do was shoot, but he had taken a touch too much and allowed McGregor to come out and dive at his feet and get the ball away. And probably the only other chance Celtic had was a penalty. It was on the 78th minute, and Aribo was adjudged to have pushed Griffiths. I know there's no such thing as a soft penalty, but I felt that Griffiths was diving down anyway. I think he had jumped up for the header to try and get to it from across, and he was looking for it, and he fooled the referee because it was certainly of the soft variety, but the penalty was given nonetheless. Edouard stepped up. He didn't look confident for me, and that was the key thing. I wouldn't say it was a good penalty because it was a bit of a lazy penalty, I felt, but when you put a lazy penalty up against a keeper with the quality of McGregor, who's got a reputation for saving penalties, there's only going to be one winner out of this, and McGregor saves the penalty. Outstanding from McGregor. As the gaffer said, I'm fed up talking about McGregor for how good he is, and that's the ironic thing. Our defence has been solid this year, and McGregor is in the running for the player of the year, and it's because he does things like this where he's not called into action for most of the game. The defence has been solid, and he pulls out a worldie, or he pulls out a very vital save at the very vital moment, and he's worth his weight in gold. He really is. He's 39. He's signed on a contract extension, and we're going to struggle when he does hang up his gloves, unfortunately. But we'll think about that another day. Just be thankful we've got him. And there really is a serious debate now whether he is as good as, if not better than, Gorham. It's becoming even more harder, especially after this season, to distinguish who's the better keeper. I never thought Gorham could have been equalled, if not bettered, but it's really coming to that now. Of the penalty as well, once a lot's been made about the fact that Rangers domestically haven't given away any penalties this season. You know, a lot of the commentators on that are completely forgetting that the opposition need to be in our box to actually do that. But once again, Celtic are finding out that just because you get given a penalty doesn't mean it's an automatic goal. They need to get that through their head. But let them do it. I don't care. But anyway, as I said, there was one chance for Roof, and he had came on in the 80th minute just after the penalty, and that was about the closest we came in the second half, but we didn't need it. And absolutely delighted. The game rounded out. Celtic season over. We're through to the quarterfinals, I believe it is, and just absolutely delighted. We're on for the double. Certainly, we can't rest on our laurels. We've obviously got to be mindful of that after the St Mirren game, but just absolutely incredible for Celtic season to be wrapped up already. For us to have wrapped up the league, on for the double. I'm lost for words with this team just now, but still a lot of football to play. Still got to try and keep our unbeaten record in the league going for 100 points, going for 100 goals. We'll see what we can do. Next game though is on Wednesday. I can't remember if that's either a 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock kickoff. I think the time was changed again, but I'm not too sure. But I'll be back with another match reaction after that. That game is against St Johnstone in the Premiership. What's even funnier is after that is basically a friendly against Celtic in the league, because that's all it really is. So we'll come to that when we come to it. But Dave and I probably won't be back with a main podcast this week. It'll be probably the week after there. But as ever, you can go to our website, which is ireadypodcast.wordpress.com, and there you can find most of the podcasts and match reactions that we do. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. I certainly